All right, I'm going to show you a simple way to throw a cast net. Now, these are intimidating and confusing to a lot of people, and they have been for me over the years, and I finally got it mastered pretty easy. But I'm going to show you how I do it. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of, it will take a little bit of practice. Even though I showed you how to throw it, it's still going to take you a little bit of practice on exactly how it works best for you. But I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, what I'm going to show you here is good for the 3 to 6 foot diameter nets. Anything above that, you're getting into a whole nother a way of throwing nets. Anything over 6 foot is a little more complicated, and it's a little harder to do. Now, in my situation, I'm throwing nets in a lot of small creeks. I'm throwing nets in a small river. And so I don't want a big, huge spread because it'll capture everything in the river. It'll capture the debris, it'll capture logs, it'll capture rocks. And then when I go to pull my net in, it's going to swoop those things and get hung up. And that causes a whole nother sequence right there. And you will get wet getting your net untangled from something in the bottom of a creek or a river, because I have done it many a time, and it's just no fun. And in the meantime, you're scaring all your minnows away, and you're not going to be able to probably catch any right there because they will scatter with you wading in there and carrying on trying to get your net unhung, and it'll aggravate you to pieces. Now, I have a 6 foot net right here. This is my favorite minnow catching net. 6 footer in most cases works good for me. Now, this is a 1/4 inch mesh. And what that means is these little squares right here are 1/4 inch long and wide, okay? They're just a little square, 1/4 inch. Now, most of these that you buy at Walmart or Bass Pro, 85% of your nets that you see are going to be 3/8. 3/8 is fine for catching bigger baits like larger perch, shad, things like that. But the 1/4 inch net is what I want because I am capturing a lot of minnows. At a 3/8 inch net, I have found a lot of the minnows, it works like a gill net, and a lot of your minnows will get hung up in these in a 3/8 mesh. But with a 1/4 inch mesh, they won't get hung up in them. They're easy to shake out. I'm telling you, it's the best net ever. Sometimes they're a little more expensive, but they're good. All right. Now, this is, again, a 6 foot net. All your sinkers are down here on the bottom. You got your rope at top, which you hang on to. Every one of these comes with a loop on the end of the rope. Now, what you can do with this loop is two different things, okay? One is just a loop like this, okay? Got a loop right here. I can stick my hand in this loop, and if it's a little hard to get on, that's good, because that means it won't come off easy, okay? Now I can just get that on my wrist, and that's gonna work great for me. Now, if your wrist is smaller and that loop is too big, it's a factory loop right here, then what you can do is just bring some of the line through that loop like this, put your wrist in there, and cinch her down. And cinch her down pretty good, because you don't want this coming off. That'll create another sequence for you, because your rope will be off in there with your net. Then you got to go off in there and get your net, and this causes all kinds of problems again. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure your net is secured on your arm, however you want to secure it. Now, in this case right here, I am just going to secure this net on my arm with the factory loop that came with this, because it's pretty tight. It's not going to come off, and I like it. Now, I put this on my right hand because I am right-handed. All right. If you're left-handed, everything I'm showing you here, just be backwards. So I'm going to do this with my right hand. I got my rope on my right hand. Okay, that's done. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is roll up my rope. I got to get control of all this rope. I can't just leave it laying around. So I'm just going to roll up like I would maybe a lasso, just like this. Okay, bringing it all together, getting it all up here. I bring it all the way to the top of my throw net. Now, if you look at my throw net the way it is right now, it's wadded up on the bottom on the bank here, okay? It's just a big wad. But now when I reach down and grab this cap right here and pull on it, it straightens my net out just perfect, okay? Now the net is straight, sinkers are at the bottom. I have my rope rolled up like this. Now what I'm going to do, okay, there's where it starts to get very confusing to people, but it's very important, is with my right hand, I'm going to grab this net, and I'm only going to go down about 1.5 feet, about 18 inches, okay? That leaves about this much to the end of my net, okay? Now I can hold the net like this. I've got control of the net. I've gathered it about 18 to 20 inches, something like that, okay? Leave that right there. Now I have the rope and the net in the same hand, just like this, all right? Now what I'm going to do is reach down and grab a sinker, the bottom, with the sinker row, okay? I'm just going to grab it anywhere, not necessarily any certain spot. I'm just going to grab it, okay? What's convenient. Now I've got it like this right here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab also the sinker row with my right hand. So I'm going to swing the net up here just enough. I'm going to go down about 3 feet, and I'm going to grab the sinker row right here, okay? I just grabbed it. Now look what I've got. I've got in my right hand, I have the net, I have a sinker row, and I have the rope. 3 things. In my left hand, I just have the sinker row, all right? Now that I'm ready to throw. This is it. Again, this works for a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6-foot net, and it works very efficient. The smaller the net, the easier it is to throw. If you have trouble throwing a net, a 6-footer, get you a 5 or a 4-footer, and you'll be able to throw them a lot easier. 6 foot, again, is the max I want to throw like this. This is it, all right? Now, the secret to throwing this, though, is to do what you would consider to be a sidearm throw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this net here in just a second, and when I do, I'm going to do it and swing my arm like this and release the net about right here and then let my arm fall away, okay? It's very important that you throw this thing kind of a sidearm and kind of a sweeping motion, because I've got to pick all these sinkers up right here. Every one of them got to come up into the air, and they've got to, and the net itself has to have a spinning action to it so that these sinkers can spin out and open up. It'll open up the net, all right? I'm gonna give you an example of that. I'll throw it here, and then I'll gather it up, show you quickly one more time, and that'll be it, all right? If you can hang with me just for a minute. All right, so I'm gonna toss it out here in this river. There's minnows actually in this river, but I'm not trying to catch minnows this day. I am just trying to throw this net and show you how to do it, all right? So what I have here is, I basically am holding a quarter of a circle, okay? That is a quarter of the circle of this net. And now I'm going to toss this net, and I'm going to do the sidearm, and I'm going to sweep, and my cameraman is going to follow this net out, and you're going to watch it open up pretty decent, okay? It's not always going to be perfect. Don't even worry about that. If you don't get a perfect circle, don't freak out over it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, but you got to cover as much of the water as you can with your net. That's why I like a 6-footer, because if you don't throw it perfect, you still cover a large portion, and you catch a lot of minnows, perch, or whatever, a shad, whatever you're after, right? So I'm going to toss this out here. Here we go. That was about an 80% opening of the net. And now I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop it up, not real fast. I'm going to bring it to me. Now you'll notice it's all wadded up. Why is it wadded up? Because the sinkers acted like a scoop, and they sweep the bottom, and now all the sinkers are gathered up in here, and all the minnows, if I had minnows in here, they would all be hanging down at the bottom of this net, and they'd be hanging all around it. I grab the upper part of the net. I grab a hold of the upper part of the net, and I pull it, and when I do, all my minnows, all my perch, all my shad, whatever it is, would have fallen to the ground or fallen in a bucket, however I wanted. And then what I do is I shake them out. You can shake the net like this, get all your minnows out of there, and you are done. Now, what I'll do is gather it up and do it again. Ropes on my right hand, lasso it up. Here we go. This is step number 2. Step number 3, grab a hold of the upper portion of your net and grab it down about 16, 18 inches, 20 inches, somewhere in there. Not any further than that right there. Reach down, grab your sinker bottom, sinker row with the right hand, bring it over and grab the very same sinker row with your left hand. Now you're just on your right hand. Now you got your left hand holding the sinker row. Your right hand holding is holding 3 things. It's holding the net itself, it's holding the rope, and it's holding the sinker row. And again, I'm going to throw it, and all this can happen. It's why these nets are easier. They're not so complicated. $75 to 80% opening of the net right there, which is pretty good. If there had been a bunch of minnows in there, I would have caught a bunch. And I would have been happy with that throw, okay? That was not a bad throw. I would have taken that throw any day when I'm trying to catch minnows, all right? Well, that's it. Then you roll this thing back up. The way I like to roll it up is grab all my sinkers in a wad like this and just peel it around like this and make it back into a ball. Just like this. Boom, done. I can put this in a bucket. I can put it in a box. I can put anything I want to. It's out of the way. It's easy to unroll. You can just drop this on the ground. That will unroll. My friends, that is how you throw a cast net. And if you have trouble doing it, need more instructions, more questions, leave a comment below, ask a question below. I will help you with anything I can with this to make it work for you. But I do appreciate you watching this video. It's me and you outside, one word, no spaces. Share this video with somebody. Share it with if you would, and just it helps me out if you subscribe. I just appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, great morning, great night, wherever you're at. God bless.